Welcome to a special episode of the Splendid Life Show. We have a wonderful guest with us today here, Victoria Buckmann. She is a certified dream coach, former premier success coach for eWomen Network, a hypnotherapist and intuitive. So join me in welcoming Victoria Buckmann. Hi, Victoria, you're on.
Hello, T. I am so excited to be on the Splendid Life Show.
Well, I want to ask you, what are the keys to getting unstuck? You know, when women are feeling frustrated or just overwhelmed, how can they get past that?
Yeah, that's it. It happens often to us entrepreneurs and business owners, and it's not a great feeling. So here are the 4 keys to getting unstuck.
Okay.
Number 1, what I find the most with clients is if they don't have a very clear vision of where they're going, they're not seeing the end result really clearly, that tends to kind of block you from really getting to where you want to go. Mm-hmm. So number 1, you need to really have a clear vision. Have the end result in mind as clearly as you can. And that's something that kind of morphs and changes as you go. But if you can really keep getting specific with that. One of the things that I tell my clients when I'm working with them is the universe is kind of like a mail order catalog. So if you were to order a blouse, you know, you're going to get this blouse that comes to your house, and you don't know if it's the right size, it might not be the right color, it might not be the style that fits your body. So when you're talking about where you're going, your goals, your vision, you want to know what size is it, what color is it, what style is it? You know, and make sure you put your address in there. It's got to get it to you, right? So
Yeah.
Number 1 is really having a clear vision.
Okay.
Key number 2 is be honest with where you are right now. And the person that you're being honest with is yourself. Be honest with yourself and write out what is happening in your life currently. And be really honest about that. That is going to give you a really big clue as to the belief or the pattern that's holding you back, that's really keeping you stuck and blocked. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, I had a client who is doing really well in her business, but every time she needed to pick up the phone to follow up with people or to make calls to, you know, fulfill some of her sales, she would distract herself and go somewhere else and do something else other than picking up the phone. Mm-hmm. And she couldn't figure out why, and she was just stuck. She knew she needed to make phone calls, but yet she wasn't doing it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we did this process with her, and what we found was when she was 4 years old, she remembered every time the phone rang, it was either someone who was either in the hospital or they had died, and it was really sad news, or it was someone who was angry and they were yelling and screaming on the phone. So her 4-year-old inside of her had made this association with picking up the phone. It's either going to be somebody who's sad or angry. So it was distracting her. It was keeping her stuck and not allowing her to pick up the phone and make her phone calls that would actually move her business forward. So when you're writing what's going on in your life, that's how you find what that belief is that's keeping you stuck. And then number 3, this goes right along with it. Those beliefs that are limiting you, those ones that are keeping you stuck, that's what you get from exercise number 2 by writing out where you are currently. These are like counter intentions. They're like counter goals. They're the exact opposite of what you really want in your life. And so when you find these clues as to what's happening in your life, so let me give you an example. If you have a lack of money flowing in your life or a lack of clients flowing in your life, well then the belief that's deep down inside, and this is not conscious, it's not on the conscious level, the The belief is something like, I intend to create a lack of money flowing in my life. Or I intend to create a lack of clients flowing in my life. And when you say that to someone, they're going to go, you're crazy. I would never intend that. But it's deep down inside. And it might be, I intend to create a lack of money flowing in my life, because if I have a lot of money and clients flowing in my life, I'll have to work really hard and long. So your subconscious is actually keeping you safe, or so it believes that it's keeping you safe.
Yeah.
So it gives you the clue as to what you need to reprogram, what the limiting belief is that you need to move out of the way to get unstuck.
Right. So what is the fourth step?
The fourth step is, well, let me expand on number 3 a little bit. Okay. On number 3, some of the things that you're going to do to get yourself unstuck: guided imagery, visualization, hypnotherapy is very powerful. For those of our listeners that don't know much about hypnotherapy or haven't tried it, it basically is like a guided meditation, a guided visualization. Having a coach, these are all things that can really help you to find what it is that's keeping you stuck. And number 4 is more of the practical. Some of the things that we've talked about so far are some of the profound things to do. Number 4 is the practical. What are the obstacles or challenges that are going to come up? What are some baby steps? What's one baby step that you can take to break that stuckness and start to get some movement and momentum and start to help you move forward?
Okay, so you have to figure out your baby step, right?
Right. So what is the challenge or the obstacles, and what's one baby step that you can take towards moving towards your goal and overcoming that obstacle?
So for example, you just feel like overwhelmed, and then you don't feel like getting out of bed. So what's the one baby step you can do? That kind of a thing?
Baby step the one baby step I would start with is, what are you saying in your head? So instead of saying, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed and I don't want to get out of bed, you say, oh, I'm feeling energized and I'm going to get one thing done today. I'm going to get up and feel really good. And then do it. The one baby step is get up and move forward. Well, and see, we forget. You said talk to yourself about what you want to do. We are talking to ourselves all along. When we're saying I'm overwhelmed and I'm tired and I don't want to get out of bed, we are talking to ourselves.
True.
But we're not talking to... Think about what you would say to a friend if they said they were overwhelmed and stuck. You wouldn't say, oh, you're overwhelmed, don't get out of bed. You would give them a little pep talk. So you got to do the same thing with yourself.
That's true. So it's like you should treat yourself as well as you treat others. It's like self-care. Yeah, or better.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess, can you expand more about self-care then?
Okay, first of all, we as women are really, really good at putting ourselves at the end of the line. We make ourselves last. So self-care is about taking better care of yourself. What are you eating? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you saying no to things that you really want to say no to? Are you saying yes to the things that you know will move you forward? So it's interesting. When we're tired and frustrated and overwhelmed, parts of our brain that are the creative parts close down. Yeah. So when we're stuck and tired and not taking good care of ourselves, the part of our brain that's going to give us new ideas and allow creativity to flow and get us excited about life again, those parts of the brain are shut down because the body is just trying to take care of you and keep you alive. So in order to have all of your faculties, all of the parts of your brain that give you lots of ideas and move you forward and help you be creative and feel good, you have to take care of yourself first. And it's kind of cliche, but what do they say in the airplane? If you don't put your oxygen on first, you can't save someone else.
Yeah.
So we as women are really good at taking care of other people. If all of us took care of ourselves even 20% more than we do now, we would change the whole entire planet. So self-care, taking care of yourself, really doing for yourself first, and then helping other people is key to getting you unstuck. Because part of being stuck is those parts of your brain that's been shut down. You can't even think of good ideas because your brain is closed down because your body's so tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
So self-care is really, really, really key and important, more than we recognize. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, when you feel kind of like unstuck, stuck, and then nothing is actually working to get you unstuck, what do you recommend? How do you get unstuck fast? Is there
Okay,
a fast way?
Yes, yes. Okay, so the two fastest ways, number one is movement. Get your body moving.
Okay.
Turn on some music and start to dance. I don't care if you have a grumpy face or tears running down your face. Start moving and put some upbeat music on. When you move, stuck energy, when you feel stuck, it's actually energy in your body that hasn't been able to move through. So when you start moving your body, you move the energy in your body, and it helps you to get unstuck very quickly. The other one that I like to do is orange essential oils. You buy the orange essential oils at a health food store or something. It's fairly inexpensive, maybe $5 for a bottle. And orange or lemon essential oil, you put 1 drop of the essential oil in your hand, rub your hands together, and cup it around your face and smell it. The frequency of the essential oil is a higher frequency, and it will raise your energy level and get things moving again also. So those are two really quick ways. One of the other ways that takes a little bit longer, but it's very powerful, is I have my clients, when we were talking about the counter intentions, when you find what it is, what's the belief that's deep down in there that's keeping you stuck, flip it and figure out what would be the opposite. I have money and clients flowing in my life. I have lots of energy and I'm feeling fantastic. Record something like that in your own voice and put it on your iPod, your iPhone, on whatever device that you have that records, and listen to that first thing in the morning, like when you've woken up but you're not out of bed yet, where you're kind of in that half awake, half asleep state. And then again at night when you're falling asleep. That's when your conscious mind moves out of the way, and whatever you're listening to goes straight into the subconscious mind, and it starts to reprogram those old beliefs. And if you do that enough, you'll reprogram those beliefs, and then your actions, your body starts doing and moving in the direction that you want it to go in on autopilot. It's automatic. And then that's fun. Now you're doing stuff to move you forward, and it's just coming out of you naturally. You have to remember that everything that comes out of your mouth is an affirmation. Everything. So if you say, I'm tired, you're telling your body, I want to be tired, and your body's going to go, okay. If you're telling yourself, I have lots of energy and I feel great, and you keep saying that, your body's going, okay, and it's going to make you feel great. So whatever you're saying to yourself, that is an affirmation. So pay attention to what you're saying.
Yeah, so true, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, hey, can you give us an example of someone who came to you and was just, overwhelmed or feel stuck, and then how did you go through and bring her to a state of like really success and moving forward?
Oh, yes, yes. I had a client that actually came to me for because she was depressed. So she came to me for depression, and we just, she wanted to get out of this frump. She was like really stuck. And so what I do is I go in and we find what's going on inside. We start talking to the different parts. All of us say, oh, I want to go do this, but part of me doesn't feel like doing that.
Mm.
Well, it's funny. We talk about these parts of ourselves, but we never really acknowledge or really think about those are real parts of ourselves. Those are real aspects. So I went in and we start talking to all of her parts and interacting with the little girl inside of her and her teenager and all of these, the woman that was trying to hold her back and, so there were these different parts that we would talk with and we would interact and we would find out what's going on with them, what do they need, what are they not getting that they need. And when you start to give them what they need and we start to talk to all these parts, and what we do in just in like a guided meditation or a visualization, we created a round conference table and we invited all the parts to the table. And we start getting the parts talking to each other and talking to her. And then we say, okay, here's the goals that we're working on. I want to feel good. I want to be happy. And we get all the parts on board, and pretty soon she was feeling a whole lot better. Her energy was coming back. She came to me for depression, and when she left, she ended up having a whole brand new business, and it's thriving even to this day.
All right.
So she came for one thing, and she achieved that, but then we took it one step further, and we found something that she absolutely loves and turned it into a business.
Oh,
so it was an amazing success story.
Yeah. So let me see. How do our listeners get more tips or find out more about how you can help them?
Yes. If they go to Programmed for Wealth, I think it's right here on the screen. That's my website, Programmed for Wealth. In my little opt-in box, you will get 3 videos on how to raise your energy, and then you will get 1 coaching tip every 14 days for an entire year. So it's like virtual coaching. And I've gotten lots of feedback on how helpful the tips are.
I always ask my guests this. So how are you living your splendid life?
I am living my splendid life in many ways, I have to tell you. Number one, I have the best job in the world. I get to help women get unstuck, find what it is that they love to do, and move them forward so that they have a business and a life that is in line with their deepest heart's vision and desires. And most of them are out helping other people, so they get to pay it forward. So, I love what I do. I also have taken very good care of myself by creating an amazing home. And when you walk in my home, the energy is really high. My house is filled with angels. I've created a lot of wealth and warmth and comfortableness in my home. I love having people over at my home, and so I'm always surrounded by this environment that's very loving and nurturing, and that's part of the self-care. That's really important.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, it was great knowing about your work and what you're doing to help people. So I really like to thank you for spending time with us. So thank you very much,
Thank you
Victoria.
so much.